Welcome to the recording for week 4 in web design. And your week might be different from this because this may be from a different recording, a different block. But anyway, this is the beginning of the WYSIWYG editor unit. And this is sections 1 and 2. We'll do sections 3 and 4 next week. So sections 1 and 2. And you'll see this week we have the write-ups. So obviously you always do the write-ups. We have what's called a finishing plan. Finishing plan is a way for you to tell me and for you to get it in your mind how you plan to finish the course out, what grade you plan to get, what work you plan to do, etc. So those are some real easy points. Then you have 3 assignments. You have what's called a font attributes assignment, you have a formatting autobiography text assignment, and you have a WYSIWYG table assignment. So really getting into the meat of web page design, we're going to be using a web page design program rather than doing coding. So that's the work we have, so that's what we'll go through. So I'm going to scroll down. Oh, before we do that, just want to remind you of some things. Assignment directions. Take a look at this, and for this work, look at these recordings I have. These show you exactly how to do the 3 required assignments. So please watch these recordings. They're like 10 to 12 minutes. But watch the recordings before you jump into the work or as you do the work. They'll really help you out. Okay, WYSIWYG. Oh, one more thing I need to share. I'm sorry. I switched around this unit and the copyright unit. Copyright unit used to be week 4, but I switched it around because it's better for us to do the WYSIWYG unit now, because then we'll use the WYSIWYG editor program to do the copyright work later. So you might want to go look at the new schedule in the doc sharing area. It just switched a couple of weeks around, not a huge deal. All right, let's go into the week 4 write-up. In the week 4 write-up, you can see, just as always, we'll go through these and answer the questions as we go on. And before I do that, I'll just tell you about the finishing plan. So the finishing plan is read each question carefully, answer them completely. You will not get to revise this, so you just do it one time, get it all right. I explain the questions very clearly for you. So remember, the class has 1,000 points, and you're going to need to remember that for some of these answers down below here. And just remember, if you have 795 at the end, that's 79.5%. If you have 595 at the end, that's 59.5%. And you're going to answer all these just like you do the write-ups. So you'll copy and paste the questions and the answers in the Dropbox, not as an attachment. So question number 1, what is your current grade percentage on points earned? So go to the grade book, find your grade percentage, like 72%, 65%. And how many total points have you earned so far? The grade book will show that. So there's no reason you should get these wrong. Number 2, what grade percent do you want for the class? Again, this is going to be a grade percent. So do you want 80% for the class, 90%, 70%, 60%? So just put the answer here is going to be probably 60, 70, 80, or 90, or it could be 95 or something like that. But just put the percentage, please. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. It shouldn't be. How many more points do you need to get the grade percentage you want? So as an example, if the grade percentage you wanted for the class was 80%, that means you need 800. But you already have earned some, so maybe you've already earned 300. So then, how many more points? Well, if you want 800 total minus 300 you've earned, then you'd have to earn 500 more points. So it's just doing simple math. Another example. Let's say that you want to just get 70%. All you want is a C in the class. So for down here, we know that a C would be 700 points. Maybe you've earned 400 so far. So 700 minus 400 would be 300, so you'd need 300 more points. So please get these 3 correct. Just take your time, answer the questions exactly as I asked them. How many more days are there left? The block that ends on December 20th, so you can do the math on that based on whatever day you're watching this recording. List 5 assignments and include the points possible for each of those assignments you plan to complete before December 20th. Those can be any assignments in the class. And how many hours per week do you plan to do in this course for the rest of the time? So very easy questions. This is easy. I think it's 20 or 25 points assignment. Very easy. And again, you're just going to put it in the Dropbox, not as an attachment, just as text in the Dropbox. All right, let's jump into WYSIWYG unit. So in the introduction section, what does WYSIWYG stand for, and what does it mean as far as web page design goes, and what WYSIWYG web page editor will you download? So here we are in the introduction page. So as you look at this, WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. And what that means as far as web page design is that it displays the text and graphics on the screen exactly how they would display on the web page if somebody looked at the web page. So that's different from coding, right? Because in coding, your coding isn't what shows up on the web page. The result of the coding is. So whatever you do on the screen when you use the program, it will display right just like that on the screen. There are lots of programs that you can use for this. The one that we're going to use is called NVU. And this says it's pronounced NU. So you can call it that if you want to. NView, I mean. You can call it NView if you want. So we're using the NView program is what we're going to download. Now in this whole unit, we're going to look to set up CSS, format text with CSS, look at different views, make tables, edit tables. That's what we're doing for week 4. Now week 5, we're going to do these other things. Now remember, go to the gradebook to see the points, because some of these points may change on these assignments that you have to do. Now they want you to go here to do the download, but that just leads to the next screen. So if we go to the next screen, we're actually in section 1, part A. So let's go back to the write-up. So we answered these questions, didn't we? And now it's section 1. What are the 5 pages you'll have for your autobiography work? What are the 4 CSS styles you need to set up? What do you have to do to a style sheet to change it from internal to external? What are the 4 different views in NVU or NView, and which we'll use most often? How do you submit all the work for this unit? So here we are, section 1. So this has you download NVU. Now you can download any way you want. This says go right here, and then it says to download the zip file. But if you go right here, then you can go ahead and run, and it'll download for you. And then you can go and you start NVU from your programs directory. So however you can get it downloaded, get it downloaded. And here's a video on how to download it. And what you'll end up with is you'll end up with a program in your program files called nvu.exe, and this says you can create a shortcut to that on your desktop, or you can just always go to programs and then go find the nvu.exe program to run once you install it. Alright, now in this unit, you're going to do an autobiography. And of course, an autobiography, that's a report about yourself, about your life. You're going to include photos of yourself as a baby, as a toddler, etc. Now, some of you may not have photographs of yourself at those stages, like digital photographs, but you can take old photographs that you have and take a picture with your phone and then turn them into a digital photo that you could use, right? Or if you don't have photos, maybe as a baby you were born in Pueblo, Colorado. So you can go get a picture of the hospital in Pueblo, Colorado if you wanted to, and use that as a picture. So when we get to the graphics part, I'll talk about that more. But anyway, these are the pages that you'll have. You'll have 5 pages. And actually later on when you start doing the pages, I think you end up with 6, but for the answer for this write-up, just call it 5 for now. They changed it up a little bit. Now you're going to set up CSS. And CSS, remember we looked at CSS with coding, but in NVU, as this says, it makes it so much easier. In this video right here, we'll show you exactly how to start setting up the CSS. Also, these are the directions down here. Now it's really, really important. Follow these steps and these directions exactly. I guarantee it will all work for you if you follow them exactly. If you veer off at all, then you're going to mess things up. So follow the steps exactly to get this set up properly. And that video right here will show you how to do that. Now you're also going to set up, we talked about the CSS, you're going to set up 4 different CSS. So one's going to be the title font CSS, a paragraph CSS, photo caption CSS, and citation CSS. So those are the 4 CSS codes that you will set up. And that's the answer to your Class Connect write-up question. Now as you create these CSS, they set them up, they create as internal style sheets. But you need to convert them to external. And the way you convert to external, I'm going down the page right here. The word to convert to from internal to external is called export. So this video will show you how to do all of that. So you'll end up exporting to the style sheets. Now remember, look down here, save with the exact names that they say. mystyles.css, all small letters, all one word. I cannot tell you how important it is that you save these things exactly with what they are. Now in this one, when you create your styles, you're saving it in your Unit 4 folder, and you're going to submit to me the mystyles.css. It doesn't have to be zipped or anything because it's just a CSS file sent by itself. But follow the directions exactly, follow these videos that are embedded in the course. And remember to change from internal to external, you go through the export process, and this shows you the export process, the video shows the export process. Switching views. Now there are many views. When you in view at the bottom of the screen, you'll see it. There's a normal HTML tags where you can see the coding that's set up, the source coding where you can see all the code, and then preview, which is what it would look like if you had it on a web page. The one that we will use most often is the normal view, because that lets us work with the web page the way that we want to. So those are the 3 different views, and normal is the one we will use most often. Here's a little self-check. Go through that to see what you know about views. Now attaching CSS. Now what this is having you do is this going to have you open up the 6 pages. So you have to follow these steps directly because you're going to create and see, actually you're going to end up with 6 pages in this. Index, baby, preschool, elementary, preteen, and now. Those are actually your 6 pages you'll end up with. And these must be the exact names you save them as. Nothing else, this exact name. Now be careful when you save them. The program will probably put HTML in automatically at the end, so you don't need to do it. Otherwise you'll end up with a page that would say index.html.html, and that won't work. So after you get the pages saved, go into your Unit 4 folder, because that's where you save it all. And in the Unit 4 folder, make sure that these are saved with just HTML on the end of them one time. So you're going to create all of these pages, and then you'll be able to start working with these pages. Now the last thing, you're going to start formatting your autobiography text assignment. So you're going to go to your index page and you're going to put a title in it. Then you're going to apply the CSS. And remember, I have given you videos to show you exactly how to do this work on all these assignments. And when you do your work for this, you're submitting your Unit 4 folder. And of course your folders, Unit 4 is Unit 4 with small u, NIT 4, all one word. So you will zip your Unit 4 folder to turn in your work, all the work for this unit. So let's go back to the write-up and see if I answered all of these. 5 pages, 4 CSS styles, we did that. Number 3, you have to export to go from internal to external. 4 different views, we looked at that, how you submit your work for this unit. Or you're going to submit Unit 4 folder zipped. That's how you're going to submit the work for this unit. Unit 4 folder zipped every time, except for the first one on the CSS font. Alright, section 2. When creating a table, what does % of window mean? How many rows will you have when you set up your autobiography table? So, section 2 is all about tables. And remember, we looked at tables a little bit with coding, but they're so much easier using NVU. Here's a video to show you how to create a table. So please follow those directions just to practice creating a table. You're not going to be using this table for your work, but do this as practice. And when you create the table, you tell it how many columns and rows you want, the size of it, but you also tell it how big you want it. Percent of window, that means how large do you want it compared to the size of somebody's screen. Do you want 80% of the window, which means that it would be 8/10 the size of the screen width, or do you want it 90%? So percent of window actually means how wide you want your table to appear on the person's screen. That's what percent of window means. Let's go back to the right. Oh, okay, no, we're not quite there. So that's percent of window. So this is just practice. So please work through this practice, watching this video, just practicing doing a table with NVU. Because if you do the practice, then it'll make the work you do later on much easier. And then you can go in, you can look at the source view and see how that table is set up and do different things to it if you want to. Okay, now you're going to get into creating the table for your autobiography. And again, I have a video that shows you how to do all of this. But if we take a look at this, you're going to end up with a table for each of your pages. And if we take a look at this table has 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows, 7 rows, 8 rows. So when you go in to create this table, it's going to be 8 rows. And in my recording, again, I have recordings for you, the video of me doing the work, I tell you exactly the size of the table to make. Now your table, when you first start doing this work, you're not going to have pictures in it. That's for later on. Again, this is going to have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Even though it looks like more, some are bigger because they expand as you put in information. So then you're going to create the tables for all of your pages, and then you're going to zip your Unit 4 folder and submit it. So that's the work for this. So I'm going to go on back to the course home and week 4. Remember, you have the write-up to do, finishing plan assignment, applying CSS font attributes assignment, formatting autobiography, and the WYSIWYG table assignment that you will do. And to refresh your memory, right here, videos of me doing the exact work as you go into these assignments. So there should be no confusion as to how to do this work, because I have these 10 to 12 minute videos that show you exactly how to do these assignments. If I click on that one, you can see it pops up. You see that. Click on this one, formatting autobiography text. That is an 18-minute video. WYSIWYG table assignment. That's a 15-minute video. So those will help you out tremendously. Now these two down here, these are going to be sections 3 and 4 next week. So that's all the work I have for you. Everything I have for this video. So that's it. I expect good work to come in. And this is a fun thing. You can have fun doing your autobiography. And next week we'll get into the graphics and do all of that in the following week. But for this week, you're just getting all the basics set up. So thanks for watching, everybody. I look forward to your work coming in. And each of those assignments would take you probably, might take some students 30 minutes, might take some students an hour. So the work for this week, you're probably looking at 3 to 4 hours at the most. So find an hour each day to do the work, or do one assignment per day. That would be a great way to do it. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.